Hello and welcome to HBF Park for a second home game in a week for Perth Glory. Yet to taste success this campaign and their second game under interim manager Adam Griffiths. They welcome the Central Coast Mariners with coaching turbulence of their own, although Warren Moon has made a pretty decent fist of things since his arrival to replace Mark Jackson just 2 days before the start of the season. Both teams have been sharing captaincy duties. Brad Tapp for the Central Coast Mariners in the opening round, but you can see there that Nathan Paul is wearing the captain's armband for a third straight game for the Central Coast Mariners. The 22-year-old who made his 50th appearance in all competitions back in that opening game of the season. So the Central Coast Mariners eager to get out onto HBF Stadium and tackle the Perth Glory this evening. Not a great record in the West. They haven't won in Perth since back in 2021, the Central Coast Mariners. And Brandon O'Neill, ever popular with the mascots and ball kids. And a nice welcome for Andrew Redmayne, his former Sydney FC teammate, of course, catching up in the West this evening. Smiles all round from Brandon O'Neill and Andrew Redmayne. And Perth Glory may be just content to let the Central Coast Mariners wait a couple of moments here on Isuzu Tunnel Cam. And now, finally, the Perth Glory will make their way down the stairs at HBF Park, led by their captain, Adam Taggart. Of course, co-captains at Perth Glory this year as well, with Scott Wootton in a senior leadership role. But it is Adam Taggart with the captain's armband this afternoon. Number 115 for Perth Glory this evening. Next week, he will join one Jacob Burns on 116 games in the top 8 in terms of Glory appearances. We'll be catching up with Jacob Burns on the sideline for us throughout the evening. And there's Matt Sutton, of course, who didn't really expect to be playing too much A-League a few weeks ago. But, of course, that knee injury to Mark Berigidi means that Matt Sutton has been given an A-League lifeline, and he's found a home for now, at least at the Perth Glory, as the teams make their way out onto HBF Park as round 4 of the Isuzu Ute A-League men's competition continues. And a fairly even match, according to our statistical boffins. You can tell the Central Coast Mariners there just slightly edging the win probability. Perth, as I say, not losing to the Mariners at home since 2021. And the Central Coast don't have a great away record as well, without a win in 8 away trips. Let's have a look at how they line up this evening. And Adam Griffiths has made one change to his starting lineup. Sebastian Despotovsky returns to the 11 after being benched against Melbourne Victory. Tom Lawrence drops out of the matchday squad with concussion. Corneau is the new face on the bench alongside Nick Pennington. He comes in for Trent Osler, who injured his ankle at training in the week. So a couple of faces changes for Adam Griffiths. So there is a very familiar sight for Central Coast Mariners fans. At least 81 games in Gosford for Brian Kaltak. Of course, 2 championships as well. He leads the Glory in both touches and passes through the first 3 games. And his rock-solid defence will be vitally important to keep the Central Coast Mariners at bay this evening. The high-tech entry for the Mitre match ball, as always, in the Isuzu Ute A-League competition. And Nathan Paul and Adam Taggart await for the toss of the coin by young Jacob, the Perth Glory fan. A wonderful moment for Jacob as well to get the opportunity to toss the coin as we have a look at Warren Moon's side. He continues to tinker, particularly in the final third. Bailey Brantman comes back into the side. He was out of the 11 for that 1-1 draw against Wellington. Ryan Edmondson will have to bide his time on the bench, still looking to get off the mark this season. And Alexi Harides and Shumba Matokoi are still waiting for their A-League bows. The rookies continue to take their place on the bench. A big moment for Storm Roux this evening. 200 games in the A-League for the Central Coast Mariners, just the 3rd player to do so in yellow and navy after John Hutchison and Matt Simon, appropriately enough against his boyhood club as well. The Kiwi international, but Sorrento Jr. played 1 A-League game for the Glory all the way back in 2013. And he will be dearly loving to mark the milestone of 200 for the Central Coast Mariners in the A-League with a victory this evening. Charbel Shamoun has been highly impressive since his move to the Perth Glory. And there is Bailey Brantman, who has returned to the starting lineup this evening for the Central Coast Mariners. Just such an exciting talent, isn't he, Bailey Bremett, at just 20 years of age. Shane Skinner is in charge of his 13th A-League game, his first ever in charge of the Central Coast Mariners for the 2020 WA Ref of the Year. Sean Evans is in the VAR booth alongside Brad Wright this evening. And there is Adam Griffiths, who scored for the Newcastle Jets in that famous semi-final win over the Mariners back in 2008. And Warren Moon scored his first ever A-League goal against the Perth Glory. Coincidentally, the day after Seb Despotovski was born, his dad Bobby scored a double that day. A memorable one for both Warren Moon, Bobby Despotovski, and I'm sure Seb looking back on it now, 20 years later. Glenn Lauder in commentary alongside Daniel McBreen. We saw that win probability there, Macca. A real cagey one, perhaps, ahead of us in the West.
Well, good evening, Glenn, and all our viewers. Yeah, you're right. If the last few games are to go by between these two teams, as we see an early foul there, the last 11 matches in 90 minutes, 7 draws, 2 wins apiece. So very, very difficult to pick a winner. It's a huge task. Adam Griffiths said that he needs to get this Perth Glory's confidence back. We've seen him tinker already with the team, change up the style. This man, in my opinion, playing a little higher is much beneficial to his game. And I'm sure Lachie Wales will want to get one over one of his former teams.
The Terrigal Jr., of course. Yeah, that one just a little overcooked for Adam Taggart. And we saw Nico Duarte cannon into Callum Timmins as well to give away the first free kick of the evening. So a reasonably eventful start for the first minute of this one between the Mariners and the Perth Glory. Of course, the Glory with just that 1 point to show after the opening round distance derby draw, and the Mariners opening their account with a win over the Jets, a loss to Sydney FC, and then of course that draw last week against the aforementioned Phoenix. Central Coast will be looking to control some possession here. Here is that milestone man, Storm Root, 200 for the Mariners. Of course, Melbourne Victory as well. Horror, leg injury all those years ago. Vitally experienced New Zealand international as well. Storm Root, 15 caps for his country. Alfie McCalmont's been really impressive for the Mariners to start this season. He was good at the back end of last campaign, and here's the goal scorer from last week, Savit Nyor, and he tries to get around Shamoon, but he runs out of space, and Perth Glory will win the throw.
Well, that man Savit Nyor obviously coming off the back of season on loan at Heidelberg in the NPL in Victoria, and will have the match fitness. He'll be more up to speed than the other players you would suspect. And last week probably wasn't decisive in the first half. Had a couple of opportunities where you thought he might have been a little bit more greedy himself, but sort of balked at the opportunity. And it wasn't until the second half when he got that opportunity again, and he took it with both hands. And I'm sure Warren Moon would have had a chat to him after the game and said, look, we want to see more of that. No indecisiveness. When you're in those positions, show us what you've got.
Huge confidence booster as the Perth Glory will look for their first goal since that opening round. Scoreless in their last 2 matches. Of course, those losses to Melbourne City and Melbourne Victory. Here's Josh Risdon dinking a little ball over the top. Taggart just tries to lay it off with the chest. It was just out of reach of Despotovski. And they can maintain possession. Wooten will go all the way back to Matt Sutton. He's had to bide his time as Matt Sutton. But a run of games last year for Western United, and now can continue that role in Perth. Josh Risdon is disappointed at the end of that attacking opportunity.
It was just a sloppy pass, wasn't it? Wasn't really under too much pressure. When you look back to the start of the season for Perth, it all started so well. 2 goals up, 26 minutes into the season. And since then, it's been a bit of a sorry story. 8 goals against.
Timmins did well in the middle there, and Despotovski sent Taggart away, but the offside flag goes up. The ball ends up in the back of the net, but it's not going to count. But some positive signs here from the Glory, knocking it around pretty impressively through the first 4 minutes.
Well, you know, that man in particular, Adam Taggart, if there is a high, flat line, he will look to exploit in behind. We'll watch what they did early against Wellington Phoenix in round 1. We have to make mention too of the amount of injured players that Perth Glory have out at the moment. I'm not sure if I'm missing any, but I've got Birigidi, Sam Sutton, Pennington, Kucharski, Amos, Cameron Cook, Lizalowski, Osler, Anasmo, Tom Lawrence. I don't know if I'm missing any, Glenn, but if I am, that's almost a full starting team lineup.
We're only 4 rounds into the competition. We might head down to Jacob Burns for a quick look at just how this Perth Glory side is still trying to cobble itself together so early in the season as we just watch this play unfold. Jacob, good evening to you. It's been a tough start for the Glory.
Yeah, good evening, guys. Yeah, they have, and Macca just touched on that there. They're suffering quite a few injuries. Such an early doors of the season. It's it's a wonder if that's down to a lack of pre-season games or the training that they're doing, or the backroom staff and what they're doing, because to have that many is very concerning this early in the piece.
Yeah, well, Macca, when you look at successful teams that go on to win competitions, generally they have a pretty clean bill of health, and by keeping your best players on the park, obviously it gives you the best opportunity to win those games. Yeah,
without doubt. I think probably last season you could say there was an exception to the rule in Melbourne City. Their young guns got them through majority of the season, but you're right, consistency's key, and Adam Griffiths now in charge for how long we don't know, but he'll be having to have a look at that and say, well, why are there so many injuries? Is it the training load? Is it the lack of training load? Is it intensity? Is it the pitch, particularly, that we're training on? All these factors can be looked at to try and nut it out, but it's such an early stage of the season, a cavalcade.
Well, good opportunity here for them to go ahead. It was a really nice ball through again from Callum Timmins, but over on that far side, Wozanovski was unable to test Andrew Redmayne.
Well, it was a decent opportunity, wasn't it? And they had numbers central as well. Not going to say anything about having a strike from those areas, but they have tested already, Perth Glory, that Central Coast Mariners back line.
Seb Despotovsky, of course, following in his father's footsteps. Just his 5th game in the A-League. Caltac has to send that one back up to halfway.
Well, it's a great first touch, wasn't it? And you can see there the space, and look, Adam Taggart just took the step back behind the defender, and it was a timid finish in the end, but another warning sign early, and maybe signs that Adam Griffiths is starting to instill a little bit of confidence.
Almost like he got his feet caught under the ball as he was trying to get that strike away. Despotovsky, Nior now will go to ground. Shane Skinner is happy to allow play to continue. It'll go out for a goal kick. Nior can't believe it, but it's good defending by Charbel Shamoun.
Well, he doesn't agree, does he? He looked to have nicked the cross and then maybe shoulder to shoulder.
Moragas heads all the way back to Nathan Paul, who's happy to get Andrew Redmayne involved. Ezio tries to flick on. He can maintain possession here under pressure from Will Freeney. You get the feeling that the way that these two teams came into the season, with pundits looking at, final tables and things like that, these two sides would be fairly evenly matched in expectation for the season across the league. And so these kind of games are the ones that are crucial. 3 points. And there's the brains trust. And the assistant coach, Josh Rose, the goalkeeping coach, Danny Vukovic, providing valuable support to Warren Moon, who's still starting to understand what makes the Central Coast Mariners tick. Shamoun does well to find Taggart in tight spaces. Timmins involved again after a little layoff from Despotovsky. control from Perth Glory. Plenty of Mariners players around them, and Muir gives away the throw. The battle starting to ensue between Muir and Will Freeney. Freeney push and shove. Risdon will go long for Wales, bombing on. And Lucas Moragas takes no chances, and it's a corner for the Glory.
Well, that was nice movement from Lachie Wales. Just checked like he was going to get it to feed and then took off in behind, trying to use the pace. Lucas Moragas matching them stride for stride.
Ryan Kaltak pushing up for the corner. Taken by Will Freeney, who's just arguing the point with the assistant referee. Now puts it back just on that D. Shane Skinner's not happy with the push and shove here. Harry Steele and Despotovsky. No real surprise that Harry Steele's involved. He's a bulldog at the best of times, isn't he? The terrier. He always likes getting involved. He's winding up Seb Despotovsky. Shane Skinner has split the pair.
Well, he was in a running battle last week, wasn't he, with Ishigay? Said he had some unfinished business from pre-season. Doesn't mind trying to get under the skin of the opposition players, Harrison Steele.
So now Will Freeney will be able to take this in-swinging corner towards the front post. Redmayne doesn't come. There's plenty of players in between him and the ball, and then you can hear the Redders call there. And on the follow-up ball in, he's able to leap highest and bring it down for the Mariners. It was a searching corner from Freeney, right onto that 6-yard area.
Well, you see that so often these days, don't you, Glenn? Crowd that 6-yard box. Make it hard for the keeper to come and collect.
Well, it's a giveaway from the Mariners. Wales has got space. His last touch is too heavy, though. Nathan Paul can get it over the touchline to give his side some respite. Paul is absolutely fuming, and that was a poor giveaway by the Mariners in the centre of the field, and Wales had Taggart bombing down the right-hand side.
He also had an option on the other side as well. And he knows that was a real good opportunity gone begging.
Certainly looking dangerous going forward. The Glory asking plenty of questions of the Mariners' defence. Moragas' header can only find Wales again. That's really well done by McCalmont to win it back. Don't forget, how good is this going to be tomorrow? Derby Day, first in New Zealand, but then the Victory and Melbourne City. Less than 24 hours to go. You can catch all the action on Paramount Plus, of course. Nothing like a big derby. And Amy Park will be rocking. Here's McCalmont. Brantman tries to find Moragas. That pair linking up again. McCalmont looking for runners, but it's a fairly wasteful ball. That's comfortable for Matt Sutton.
Well, DePizio was the only one really making a run across the front post. Everybody else rather standing and watching.
Well in midfield, Perth. They control that again, and Risdon sends this one up the right touchline for Despotovsky, who's been busy on both sides of the field. Wins the throw. Lachie Wales wanted it quickly.
Well, again, it was Nathan Paul who stepped out to cut off the forward advances But again, it looked like a promising position for Perth Glory.
There's Wales again. Space for Timmins. Shamoon can come forward to join the action. Risdon just weighing up his options. Decides to go back. Control possession here, Perth Glory. Stay patient and wear the Mariners down. Risdon, another ball over the top, finding Despotovsky. Nathan Paul stands strong again. This defensive unit for the Central Coast, Paul only 22, Brad Tapp only 24, but the central defenders, the first 3 weeks of the competition have been excellent. And then you look at the other end, Scott Wooten there and Brian Kaltak, all 34 and 32 years of age between them. You can throw Josh Risdon into the mix as well.
The Mariners, Nathan Paul has been the one who's snuffed out anything coming forward so far.
The area for Storm Roo to clear. Muir pushing forward. Wooten will move far enough away from Muir that he can slow things up. Start again for Perth. A scramble at the moment for the Mariners.
Yeah, they're finding it really difficult to get any meaningful possession, aren't they? Under pressure when they win that ball at the back.
Wales be able to drag this one down. He does, and then he wins the corner again. So the Glory will be able to continue their pressure. Probably the biggest issue for the Glory this season is, while they're 6th for the amount of shots they've taken, they're 11th for conversions, and they probably just need to work on their accuracy final third. There's an opportunity here. Sit last for converting big chances. The in-swinging corner towards Redmayne. Punches clear, but only for another corner. Short from Freeney. Wales comes for it. Has Freeney on the back up. Muir tries to get a foot in. Wozanovsky recycles it. And now the header flicked on from Despotovsky, but Redmayne was equal to the task. Despotovsky didn't know a huge amount about it, but if it was better placed, that would have been 1-0.
Well, he had to react quick, didn't he? Came at him fast. As he was on the turn, he just tried to guide that into the bottom corner. And once again, Mariners just give the ball away, trying to play longer ball. See there, comes at him quick, and he doesn't have time to really get anything on it except just to guide it. No pace on it.
Certainly the home side looking far more likely at this stage. Duarte brings that one down, and now the ball over the top for Nior, but Risdon will get there first. Of course, no Ryan Edmondson up top for the Mariners this evening on the pine. So no real out-and-out striker. Haley Brantman has played striker as a younger player, but the last few weeks has been deployed more in a wider left role. Now a chance here for Despotovsky again. He's saying that there was contact as he goes to ground. It ends up wide of the post. He's asking the question, but at the moment it's a goal kick and another big chance missed for Perth.
Well, it was Kaltak who put it forward. Taggart helps it on. You just have a little look there. He gets his foot caught underneath him, I think. Just trying to see if there's any contact. It doesn't seem to be there. Just a bit off balance, and maybe collects the floor as he tries to swing the leg through. But again, it's the Mariners really struggling to get that ball out of their back third. Anything that goes forward is coming back. with Perth Glory really controlling the game at the moment.
You can see there on the live ladder, if the Mariners can get 3 points tonight, they move equal top with Auckland, of course, with games in hand for the Kiwi club tomorrow against Wellington. Perth Glory with just that solitary point at the foot of the ladder. They know how important tonight is, and they've started that way.
Well, we mentioned Adam Griffiths saying that they need confidence. Well, nothing inspires confidence more than 3 points and goals, does it? That winning feeling. And I dare say that it doesn't matter when you're struggling if it's pretty or not. Just get the 3 points and you can build from there. But in the opening 20 minutes, they are definitely controlling this match. They look the more dangerous. They're keeping Mariners under pressure.
One of the first times really that the Mariners have actually got the ball on the ground, been able to build up something coming out of the back and win the throw. But a lot of their from their own final third, their own exits from their own final third have just been hit and hope. And once again, that goes straight to Josh Risdon in a purple jersey. Steele with the giveaway now. Straight to Timmins. Despotovsky can turn. He has Freeney coming in support. Taggart just needed to get control of that. It was a heavy ball through, a difficult one for the Perth Glory captain. But once again, Perth looking really good going forward.
And the good thing you like about the Perth Glory players, when they win it, they go quickly. And you see the run there from Adam Taggart, from outside trying to run on the angle behind the defender. And when the head gets up, look at that ball. It's not far off the mark. And they are testing the Mariners' back line.
Well, let's get down to Jacob Burns. Jake, what have you made of the first quarter of this one? It's been entertaining stuff from the commentary box, and I get the feeling that the Perth fans are pretty happy with what they've seen.
They certainly are, Glenn. They've started very, very well. First 20 minutes they've managed to press, win the ball, turn it over and look forward like Macca was saying. And I'm always interested in seeing the relationships that players build, and Despotovsky and Taggart seem to know each other's runs and movement, and they're building up quite a little partnership up there. And you could see that in that pass. It was just off. Interestingly, before the game, Mooney talked about matching up Noir with Josh Risdon, and he has actually changed
just
that.
Watch what happens here, Jake, as the ball in from the byline. Duarte couldn't quite get the header on it, but that was probably the Mariners' best opportunity of the half, and now there's an injury for the Glory. Sorry, Jake, to cut in, but the Mariners look like they may have got something there against the run of play.
Yes, it was just what we were talking about there. So Mooney has switched Noir to the left-hand side, and they've gone down that side and almost got a chance, or a half chance there. It looks like a tactics for them to get out. At the first 20, they haven't been able to really play through the press, and the physicality they might need to match up against someone like Noir against a Risdon.
And Matt Sutton, a bit of friendly fire there on Scott Wootton, but Jake's right there, Macca. The Mariners do look a little more dangerous there. That was Miggy DiPizio taking that to the byline on that occasion.
Well, it's one of the first times they've really looked dangerous going forward as well. And the other thing with Sabit Newell coming down that left-hand side is, can it nullify this man going forward to cause problems? Lockie Wales, can he start trying to get him to think about going the other way rather than going forward as well?
Nathan Paul certainly letting Adam Taggart know he's there, and gives away the free kick against the wily striker, the veteran. 22 caps for the Socceroos. Nathan Paul has been involved in Olyroos qualifiers as well. You love to reach those lofty heights. There's Andrew Redmayne marshals his defensive unit for the set piece. Freeney towards the penalty spot, headed clear by Moragas. Still with Perth now. Wozanovski gets it back into the area, but Duarte clears on this occasion. Newell's dragged to the ground. Wales has it back for Perth. Can they find a way through? From Risdon, they can't at this stage. Still the Mariners just scrambling clear though.
Perth Glory have been patient as well, haven't they? Moving the ball around, trying to draw out the Mariners a little. More often than not, okay, this time it's gone a little astray, but more often than not, they're getting past the front line and the midfield line with relative ease. And it's not until they come up against Nathan Paul and his compatriots at the back that they're getting in resistance.
There is Nathan Paul with another long ball. Newell wins it back for the Mariners. Duarte has Brantman over on that right-hand side now. Storm Roux is looking to cross that ball into the area, but he's got right on the melon of Charbel Shamoun, questioning if there was an arm involved. Once again, the Glory are able to just wrestle back control of the ball and the momentum of the game. Good tackle from Steele. Nice flick on from Duarte. Here's Brantman. Can he turn back towards goal? He decides to recycle. Links up with Storm Roux. He's got two on him here, but he wins the corner, Bailey Brantman. That is much more encouraging for the Central Coast.
Well, it all came from a better press from the Mariners as well. When the ball went central, it was tight. And the end product was possession in Perth Glory box.
Harry Steele was the man doing that defending, up and in the face. Brantman's corner towards the front post, headed clear by Kaltak, only as far as McCalmont. They can keep the pressure on here. Harry Steele will go for a goal from distance, but it comes off Miguel De Pizio, and it goes out for a goal kick.
Well, a better passage from the Mariners. We saw that one foray down the left. A better sequence of pressing that turned over possession higher up the field. Ball into the box. Need more of those moments.
We spoke about Derby Day, of course, the Melbourne Derby tomorrow night, but before that, the Kiwi Classico, the New Zealand Derby. The Phoenix at home to Auckland. No love lost between those two clubs. Chiefy and Steve Corica to resume their rivalry in the dugouts. Who will get bragging rights across the ditch? All the action, of course, on Paramount Plus.
Well, I loved Chiefy in his press conference this week. He said, you know, I might have upset Stevie Corica last year. I still agree with everything I said and double down on it. But that's what we love about derbies. It really gets them going. Fans love it. Players love it. And evidently, the coaches love it.
Of course, after Auckland's win last year, welcome to Ellington. We've taken the W. That was one of the great ones. Now, a cheeky little attempt here. Andrew Redmayne was almost caught off guard. But it's a smart idea from Perth Glory. Just had a look up, saw Redmayne maybe a little off his line, and Taggart almost comes up with something from nothing.
And this is why he's so dangerous. Almost something out of nothing, as you said. Just steals in front, and you can see that Redmayne's off the line and almost loops it over the top. But as he was last week, Redmayne alert as ever.
He had to make 7 saves last week against the Phoenix. He's been called into play with a wonderful fingertip save again here. Just about off the toenails. Here's the corner towards the back post. It's well headed clear by Paul. Wales and Freeney. Redmayne punches. Flicked on by Pizio. They come again. Freeney. Towards the back post, and Taggart can't quite get the connection on that header.
Well, Jacob Burns spoke about the blossoming partnership. Taggart, Despotovsky up front. You could see it in motion there as Taggart peeled off. Despotovsky tried to arc his run back towards the front post. Header didn't quite hit the target, but you could see the movement, that understanding, and that'll only grow as they spend more and more time on the training pitch, and in particular on the match pitch together.
Muir does well to step over that ball, get away from the defender. It's come off Shane Skinner, the referee here, so maybe a drop ball. He apologises for getting in the way. Mariners have wrestled their way back into the game slightly, but Perth still look much more dangerous going forward. Nice little back heel from Despotovsky, and Moragas has to dive in to ensure Lockie Wales doesn't skip clear.
And most of the Perth Glory attacks have come down this side. He has been a real positive for them, trying to get in behind that Mariners defence. 50% of their forays forward have come down his side.
Redmayne just happy to take the sting out a little bit. 5 shots to 2. 4 corners to 1. It's telling a pretty consistent story of Perth Glory's dominance in this opening half. And that's a clear handball from Will Freeney. Uses the arm to knock that one on. Bounces off the shoulder. Steele a little isolated in the middle there. Alfie McCalmont was sitting deep. That was to allow Moragas to go on this marauding run. DiPizio, can he control? Here's Muir. Plenty of purple shirts in the way towards the penalty spot. Can Duarte turn? He was the hero in round 1. Nico Duarte can't get his head over this one. And it sails over the crossbar and wide of Matt Sutton's goal. But they are asking some questions.
Well, that was a cheeky little ball in, but look at all the Perth shirts. Purple shirts everywhere, and he has to move the feet quickly, shimmy one side and then the other, and in the end, he doesn't really find the time or the space to get the strike away he would have liked.
He certainly had to do plenty of hard work. And heavy traffic. Wales gets the flick on. Despotovsky can't get past Alfie McCalmont. It's just launched clear again. More hope than expectation. And the Mariners win a free kick just inside Perth's half with Miggy DiPizio going to ground. Josh Risdon, already 3 yellow cards this campaign. Stays out of Shane Skinner's book on that occasion. I'm not advocating it should have been a yellow card, by the way. Moon just deeply thinking about his side situation at the moment, stalking the technical area. Calmont does well. He touched from Moragas. He wanted to get the ball away to Newell, but it allowed Wales to get his foot in the way. Get it back for Perth Glory. Here's Freeney. Shamoon was walking forward on that left-hand side. Freeney just holding the ball up. He finds Shamoon. Bozanovsky finds Shamoon again. As we've spoken about, hasn't had too many attacking forays. Plenty of traffic coming down this right-hand side. Despotovsky finds himself out there. And now Wales, who's been so heavily involved, can't get around Moragas. But all he is able to do is give Perth Glory a throw-in.
Well, that's been a good battle. Lucas Moragas, Lucky Wales.
You're unable to keep his feet under that contact. And Mariners win a free kick. It's taken reasonably quickly. 10 minutes left plus stoppages in the opening half for Warren Moon and his coaching staff to work out where they need to go next. I get the feeling Adam Griffiths would be pretty happy outside of the fact that they haven't gone ahead.
Yeah, I think he'll be happy with the way his team's performed. Their press has been pretty spot on for the majority of the opening 36 minutes. They've controlled the play for the most part. They've been composed on the ball. They have found opportunities to pass through the Central Coast Mariners midfield. Lucky Wales is making forward runs. Taggart, Despotovsky looking like they're starting to get that understanding. All it needs is that goal to really solidify the work that they've done.
Wales again decides not to continue on that forward run. With yellow shirts starting to form in front of him. And Freeney, who's been good in the first half as well. And now Timmins can get it out from under his feet and find Risdon. Here's Wales up. It's just on the back of the heel. He couldn't get over the ball. He was trying to step past it, let it go through the feet. And Bozanovsky tries to feed Taggart. Duarte does well to head it down under pressure, but Pizio can't control. Steele gives it away again.
Gee, that was an intelligent pass from Risdon, wasn't it? That early ball. I think most people would have thought he'd take the touch and drive forward, but he just played it early, and I think if Lockie Wales could have just dragged that in front of him or let it run through, he could have really brought the benefit.
I get the feeling he was trying to let it run through, but he just couldn't get his feet out of the way, could he? It was on him too quickly. Nice footwork from Shamoon. Get around Brantman. He's still going. Charbel Shamoon. Brantman comes back to try to help out and push Despotovsky back. They will continue to push forward. Bozanovsky, the header over the bar. Wow, that was another really good-looking attacking raid from the Perth Glory. The Central Coast Mariners asking questions of each other in defence, but it could have been 1-0 again.
Well, it was a nice ball, wasn't it? And it's that man, Adam Taggart. He just got too much on it. You can see he knows that Andrew Redmayne will be coming. And he just wants to get the slightest of touches just to dink it over the top, and collects too much of it. But again, Adam Taggart is oh so close to finding that breakthrough.
Yeah, all but a goal. Jacob Bird's on the sideline.
Yes, Stu, they've been good value, haven't they? Interesting, the Glory coaching staff. Griff has been very vocal with the fourth official about the kind of time it's taking to take any set piece, any goal kicks. Obviously, he wants momentum. They want some reward for their endeavour. They're mindful that obviously they've played well, but one of these new ones for Taggart, one of the chances for Taggart has to drop. The longer it stays in it, Central Coast will love to go in at half-time 0-0 and build from that and trying to get a bit of composure in them.
Well, here goes Savic Nior. Can they sneak one at the back end of this half? Josh Brisden says absolutely no chance, not on my watch. And the Perth Glory's most capped player wins it back for his side. Here comes Despotovski. Taggart linking onto the ball through from Freeney. Goes towards the front post and Nathan Paul leaves for Andrew Redmayne. But again, it's a quick transition from the home side and the Mariners almost get caught out.
And again, it's another one of those balls that's in behind and it just rolls away from Taggart. But you can see whenever Despotovski gets that ball, he's acutely aware of the run that Adam Taggart is making. And as Burnsy was just saying, it all started on that challenge there, but as Burnsy was just saying, they need to get that goal. They need to get the Mariners' heads down, because as they get into half-time, they'll think, well, OK, we've got through that. And that confidence needs to build.
Well, this would certainly be the time to do it with 4 minutes plus stoppages. A late goal could put the Mariners' heads down. Freeney with the ball through for Despotovski. Brad Tapp does really well to stand up and snuff out that attacking raid. Tapp can find Duarte. He can't control. We'll end up back with the Central Coast and Lucas Moragas. McAlmont, well, that's a poor pass. Nico Duarte, no chance to get that one. It was a pretty simple ball as well. McAlmont had time, and now the Mariners inflict more pain on themselves, giving away the free kick, taken quickly by the Glory.
Well, the other thing that Burnsy was talking about is Adam Griffiths saying he wants it to be sped up. Why would they be slowing down?
Here's Wales looking to go at Moragas. Moore comes through the back and gives away the free kick. So a set-piece chance here late in the first half. A pretty easy decision for Shane Skinner.
Yeah, I think Savic Nior was just a little bit disappointed he didn't get a decision at the other end, which I don't think was a foul. In that occasion, he just draws across the legs, really, of Lachie Wales, doesn't he? An easy decision, as you say, Glenn. Another dangerous position.
So Freeney and Wales standing over this one again. Penalty spot will just about be the target. Scott Wooden is just trying to make a bit of space for himself. The tall timber, the centre back. Wales will leave it for Freeney towards the back post. Redmayne comes out and can grab, just a little too close to the keeper, the delivery from Freeney.
Well, it's only a little bit, but that little bit of extra height when it came off the boot, you knew straight away for a keeper of Andrew Redmayne's quality, it was going to be enough for him to come and collect.
Duarte tries to release DiPizio, but the pass was just behind him. That's a lovely switch for Bailey Brantman. Brantman will cut back towards the left foot. Think about going for goal. He has Nior. Savic Nior towards the back post. There's no one there for the Mariners. Stormrue is there now. But if someone like Duarte was at the back stick, it could have been a tap in, and then Alfie McAlmont fires over the bar with a minute and a half to go in the first half. Well, that could have been a killer for the Glory.
Well, that's the passage right there, isn't it? When you don't score at one end and the opportunity comes, Savic Nior does the right thing there, but no one's really getting into the 6-yard box. And you can't blame Alfie McAlmont for having his crack there. It's a difficult one on the bounce, and that would have been a real disappointing moment to go in at half-time, a goal down, after they have dominated so much in this game.
Sabatnor was well within his rights to expect someone to be making a run towards that back post.
Well, he did the right thing. Turn and strike across the goal and hope that someone's going in. Well, everybody was watching.
Another ball over the top for Taggart to chase. And Nathan Paul has to slam it over the byline for a late corner.
Well, has he been the Mariners' best player in the first half? Nathan Paul, he's been involved in everything, trying to snuff those attacks.
Will they take it short? Freeney is off corner duty here. Wales, it's a poor delivery. Storm Root can find Sabatnor, and that's another poor giveaway for the Mariners. Newell gives it straight to Bozanovsky, who fires from long range right at Andrew Redmayne, who releases quickly. Just the 1 minute of time added on in the first half. Debizio goes to ground and wins a free kick for his side on halfway, and the Shed is not happy.
Well, he got hold of it, didn't he? But Andrew Redmayne, perfectly placed.
Seven shots to 5, but the Mariners yet to get one on target. Perth Glory making double the amount of entries into the final third. They will be disappointed that they haven't got a lead going into half-time. McCalmont's floating ball sees Matt Sutton come out and playing comfortably over the top of Nathan Paul. He's hurt himself as well, Matt Sutton. That's the last thing that Adam Griffiths would want, with two goalkeepers already on the sidelines in Mark Birigidi and Cameron Cook. Let's hope it's just a little bit of winding. And it'll be just about all she wrote for the first half anyway. Shane Skinner agrees. And Matt Sutton is back on his feet. An impressive first half for the home side. Perth Glory dominating most of these statistics in that opening 45 minutes, but the Central Coast Mariners have managed to retain parity on the score sheet. Brian Kaltak still level terms with his former club. At halftime at HBF Park, it is the Perth Glory 0, Central Coast Mariners 0. Don't go anywhere, because we have all of the highlights from the first half coming up on the other side of the break.
Glory fans, let's get ready to feel the energy and bring in the buzz to Perth Glory tonight. Please welcome the Buzz Buzz Dancers!
Welcome back to the Hungry Jacks halftime show. I'm here with Grace Gill and Eric Partaloo. We'll get back to HBF Park soon for all the action, but let's talk about Derby Saturday, kicking off with the Kiwi Classico. We have the two New Zealand teams taking each other on. Let's talk about Auckland, Wellington. Who do we think is going to be the stronger of these two sides?
Well, first of all, sit down, get comfortable. Derby Saturday. Don't go anywhere because these are two massive fixtures. And the Kiwi Classico is one that we've started to mark in our calendars when we see the A-League draw come out at the start of the season, because this has been a really awesome fixture. Auckland have had the wood in the previous fixtures, but Wellington have started this season a little differently, and they've got some inclusions that I think could make a really big difference, Eric. And one of those for me is Eze up front, because he's been really lively. He's been really involved in everything that Wellington are doing going forward, and it's going to test Auckland's defence, which we know has been really strong in their existence in the competition. Yeah,
and what helps them is playing this really high line that everybody's talking about, and you know, at the moment it's still getting results for Chiefy and the Phoenix, and I think I love to see it because it gives players the opportunity to move closer to Eze for him to make those runs. Last year they played on the counter-attack, long ball over the top for Costa Barbarouses. Now they're playing possession-based, they're dominating games. This is a different Wellington Phoenix we're seeing, but I think if you're an Auckland FC fan, it's great to see Sam Cosgrove get off the mark. It's got all the hallmarks of a Classico, as we're calling it. Here's that header I'm talking about, Grace. Just a good start for him.
Well, I think for any striker, they need to get off the mark, and for Cosgrove, that's an important finish. A player that I've loved for the last couple of seasons for Auckland is Louis Verstrate, because he's a seriously talented midfielder. He's not always finding the back of the net, but when he is asked of it, he's got the quality, he's got the delivery off his boot that he can do so. And another player who I really like in Auckland is Jesse Randall, because if he's not scoring, he's been difficult for the opposition's defence. He's fast, he's really lively, he's difficult to defend against, and I think he'll be a big part of this derby.
6-1 the last game.
Wow.
Auckland winning all three last year. I think it's going to be a lot closer, and maybe Wellington just sneaking in there.
All right, you sold it to me. I'm most definitely watching that one, Eric. We also have the 50th instalment of the Melbourne Derby, City taking on Victory, and it's Victory that are hosting this one. A number of injuries for the City side. How do we think that's going to impact this one?
Well, the last time these two teams played was the grand final last year, and in the 10th minute, City went ahead, and that was to be the result for the year. So there's always a little bit of redemption about those games, but I think when it's a Melbourne derby, redemption aside, they're just huge. And City have started really strongly again this season. They had a couple of chances against what was a resolute Brisbane team last weekend, travelling a lot. You mentioned the injuries, Kat. We know that there's about 5 of the players who are nursing or struggling with hamstring injuries, soft tissue injuries. That, for me, is a really big question mark, whether it's the volume of games that they're playing, whether it's the travel that they're doing, but they've got to manage that really carefully. Dig into their squad depth, which they've had to do in the last couple of years, Eric. It's not just this year. We've seen Caputo step up to the line. Beich has been unavailable for the last couple of weeks. Always a bit of a cloud over Lecky's hammy, if he can turn around.
Everything points in that direction for them to be light on their squad, but winning in Japan the other night is going to give them a massive boost coming home on that flight, getting back to training. But I think from Melbourne City's point of view, do they have the players, the personalities to step up in a derby? And there's some young boys out there, you know, Kudleshi and Rahmani, Caputo, but Melbourne Victory, they've got some real game changers. One, Mata is there, Jurassic started well, Denny Johnroe. It's going to be an absolute belter.
It is going to be a belter, and you mentioned some of those names, and you can catch them all playing in the Melbourne Derby on Saturday. Once again, not one that you want to miss. Anyway, heading out back to the ground and all the highlights from the first half.
Thank you, Kat. The Harvey Norman highlights were a lot at one end, Macca, but Perth Glory don't have anything to show for all their chances.
Yeah, there was a lot of positivity to come out of their first half performance. Lockie Wales getting forward, Adam Taggart and Despotowski looking like they're starting to gel a little bit, the older man and the young man taking him under his wing. And the Mariners really struggled to get out of their half. A lot of long passes, balls coming straight back to them, and it was really Nathan Paul and his defensive compatriots that held them at bay. And when it wasn't them, Andrew Redmayne had to step up and pull out something out of the fire as well.
Yeah, Adam Taggart was asking plenty of questions, wasn't he? The Mariners did slowly find their way back into that first half, but chances were few and far between.
Well, they were few and far between. They didn't get up the field too often, and they didn't get a shot on target. And it was, as you said, Adam Taggart who was causing all kinds of problems. He was making little darting runs in behind. He was causing problems, asking the questions of the Mariners back line. The big problem is they haven't found the back of the net. And as Jacob Burns said during the call, the longer you go by keeping a clean sheet when you haven't been playing well, the more confidence you feel you can nick one in the second half.
So let's have a look at these stats from the opening 45. You can see there Perth Glory dominating in a range of areas, more possession, more shots on goal. The Mariners haven't had one on target in the first half. Way more passes in the opposition half and then double the amount of final third entries. So it has been one-way traffic for the Perth Glory, and Jacob Burns has been watching it on the sideline for us. We spoke about those opportunities up front, and Jake, particularly that combination that Seb Despotovsky is building with Adam Taggart. He's looked really lively, the 20-year-old.
Yeah, Sebastian, we know the family well with Bobby Despotovsky. Sebastian's carving out a career of his own. Fortunate enough to see him come through the academy. He's been wonderful. His gift is obviously he faces forward, plays forward, but obviously the relationship he's building up with Taggart, the experienced Taggart, he's so positive. One comes short, the other goes in behind, and you're seeing some of his opportunities here. There's a shout for a penalty there, but he'll watch that back and know that he's obviously just kind of air kicked it there. But I like the way that he is so positive. He's playing balls through. He sees Taggart. We talked about the relationships that strikers need to find with each other, and they're building a wonderful combination.
Well, he learned from the master, didn't he? That is the Hungry Jacks halftime show. Don't go anywhere. We've got the second half on the other side. And then tomorrow, it is Derby Day, the Kiwi Classico, and then the Melbourne Derby.
November 8 is Derby Saturday. Wellington host Auckland in the early kickoff, and then from Amy Park, it's the latest instalment of the Melbourne Derby.
Revenge is on the menu at Amy Park.
The Melbourne Derby.
Oh, goodness me! What a goal!
The Melbourne Derby.
And Keegan Jelassic once again.
The A-League is heating up in November, and you won't miss a moment of action on Paramount Plus.
Journey with eToro. Invest in stocks, ETFs and crypto all in one app. And start chasing your investment goals today. Join over 40 million users worldwide. eToro, proud sponsor of the A-Leagues. AFSL 491139, capital at risk, CPDS and TMD.
Liberty Home Loans, hit different. There for the free gifters, the go-getters, the creatives. So if you're a free thinker, you'll be right at home.
Get ready to cheer just like Liberty supports the A-Leagues. They're on your team too. Whether you're planning a holiday or buying a new home, they could provide the assist you need to keep your free thinking goals. Liberty, loans for free thinkers.
Liberty Home Loans, hit different. There for the free thinkers, the go-getters, the creatives. So if you're a free thinker, you'll be right at home.
Welcome back to HBF Park. We are just about to get underway in the second half. Adam Taggart with a couple of big opportunities, and his link-up play with this man, Sebastian Despotovsky, has been outstanding at the pointy end for Perth Glory. Alfie McCalmont has worked hard in the Central Coast Mariners midfield as his side looks to wrestle things back. Storm Roo playing game number 200 for the club. His defensive unit has been particularly busy. Not much to do for Matt Sutton, though, in the Perth Glory goal this evening. Perth Glory tonight have already had 4 shots on target, which is ahead of their season average of just 3.3. So 45 minutes into this one, and they are already further ahead of where they have been this season. And Harry Steele tries the long kick-off. It goes over the touchline, and it'll be a throw-in for the Glory, deep in their own half. And Lauder alongside Daniel McBreen for this one in the West as round 4 continues. And Macca, Perth Glory would have been fairly confident in that halftime team talk with Adam Griffiths, but they haven't had a goal to show for it.
Yeah, exactly. I think he'll be asking for more of the same. Their press has been pretty good. Their midfield play through the thirds has been relatively good as well. It's just been that final pass, that final strike. Andrew Redmayne, has been forced into a few saves. On the other hand, I think Warren Moon will be asking his team to be a little bit braver in playing out. They've relied a lot on a long ball to try and go over the top of the Perth Glory press. Well, I'm sure that he would have asked maybe his midfield players to get a little bit better positioned with their movement off the ball and be brave and try and play through the press. If they can start playing through the press, it might stop the press coming.
Ryan Kaltak very nearly getting caught out there, but he had pretty good control of it. And now Brad Tapp can get in the way, going all the way back to Andrew Redmayne, but making the Mariners goalkeeper come a long way out. And Redmayne is happy just to put that one over the touchline for a throw. Tapp's ball possibly could have been a little closer to the goalkeeper there, and now this gives an opportunity for Perth to start the second half like they finished the first, in control. Timmins loses out. It's a strong battle there as Brantman goes to ground. DiPizio continues to maintain possession for the Mariners, and he wins a throw for his side. So Perth Glory have looked pretty good through the opening minute or so of this second half, looking to get forward again. The Mariners have had to sit deep. Now it's their turn to get into Perth Glory's territory, but it's a poor giveaway from DiPizio. They win it back. Savignon taken down without the ball at his feet. The referee is saying play on here. Josh Risdon is down as well, and now Shane Skinner will bring a halt to proceedings. Risdon's got one across the face, and Savignon is clutching at the back of his head as well.
Well, it's a foul for mine. He didn't get a couple in the first half, which I think the referee got right. Well, in that angle, it's clearly a foul, isn't it?
And possibly lucky to stay out of the book for his 4th yellow of the season. He might have just bitten the tongue on the way down, and you could see the whiplash as Savignon hit the back of his head on the deck. Of course, Ryan Edmondson starting this one on the bench will be the likely replacement, you'd have to think, if Savignon is unable to continue with concussion protocols. Risdon's back on his feet.
Well, looks like they were just trying to test the neck of Savignon, not concussion protocols.
And the Mariners down behind the goals warming up. Savignon looks to be okay to continue. He and Risdon will rejoin from the touchline, and it'll be a Mariners throw. But both sets of coaching staff, including Adam Griffiths, will be keeping a close eye. Tap Goes over the top to win the header, but it's given away again. Brantman wins it back. Gets past Timmins. He's dragged to ground, though. Timmins just grabbed a bit of the shirt on the way through. And that was pretty careless from Perth. They didn't need to do that because they were going to win the ball back anyway.
Yeah. You just don't want to start to let the Mariners just feel like they're getting a foothold in the game. One or two opportunities in the first half, but they were really limited in those areas.
Will Freeney is looking a little ginger as well. That's another giveaway, allowing Adam Taggart to pick it up for Perth. Lockie Wales bombing forward on the right towards the penalty spot. Despotovsky's there. The Mariners will have to scramble here through tap. They do so. Shamoon has it back for Perth. Duarte stays on his feet. Shamoon plays at it on the deck, and Shane Skinner will give the Mariners the free kick, but that was worrying signs for the Central Coast and really positive signs for Perth going forward, as now Nico Duarte stays on the ground.
Well, he just couldn't quite pull it into his possession, Despotovsky. And one thing there has been is a few physical challenges in this opening stanza of the second half. I'm just wondering, did he fall down on his head there as he was on the ground?
I reckon he might have got a knee from Callum Timmins coming over the top. It was all completely accidental. But as Timmins lost his footing coming over the top of Duarte, I reckon he just copped a trailing knee on the way through. Just see here, Duarte goes to ground and then Timmins falls over the top of him. Yeah. Absolutely nothing malicious. In terms of the knee, anyway. Duarte's back on his feet. The Mariners do get the free kick. Switched quickly, kept in. Wales sent it over the top. The Mariners can deal with this one. Storm Roo was wondering whether Redmayne may have came out for that, but it's just sitting up on the edge of the area. Plenty of Perth shirts lingering. Yeah, Will Freeney's really struggling here. And I think this might just be the end of the section for the 20-year-old. His birthday on Tuesday. He came off the bench in the first two games. He played the full game last week against the Victory, but I think he'll be getting through the full game this evening.
Well, he immediately grabbed towards the Achilles. I'm hoping that now, is it more the ankle and the heel? But they are just feeling at the Achilles, aren't they?
Well, it's right in front of Jacob Burns. Not looking too good, Burnsy.
No, it's not, and he's been good value for him in the early parts of the game and the first half, and has a great delivery on him. It looks like he's rolled his ankle. He's saying to the physios, I can hear that he's kind of rolled it in that challenge, and hasn't the game got some physicality to it at the minute. They're all looking to tussle to try and get a result here. I think Pennington, who's a good player, will help Glory as well in there, and maybe give him a little bit more composure on the field.
Yeah, Nick Pennington hasn't featured since 28 minutes off the bench in that opening round game against his former club, the Wellington Phoenix. And let's hope for Will Freeney's sake it is just a roll of the ankle and nothing more sinister. Of course, Trent Osler picking up an ankle injury during the week at training as well. So that casualty ward is continuing to balloon. Free kick for the Mariners here. Just some frustration creeping in from the Glory. Nick Pennington, his first involvement of the game. It looks as though Nick Pennington will be moving higher, Macca.
Yeah, it looks like Despotovsky's moved out to the left-hand side. He's joined Adam Taggart. He's up front too.
Make of that, given Despotovsky's involvement so far in this match, as
Yeah.
Nico Duarte is the first player into the book.
Yeah, a little strange. I thought Taggart and Despotovsky were looking to form a little bit of a partnership. Well, you see there, just a simple drag down to stop the play.
Altuck can send Risdon on his way. Wales is more central. New Wales. Had support in Shamoon. He opts to go left and find Despotovsky in that new role, and Taggart can't get his head over that one. It was a searching ball into Adam Taggart, but just a little too deep.
And I think Adam Taggart just gave a little rev up there to Despotovsky after the play went dead, and just say, a little bit quicker, please. It was almost a standing start. Once the ball came, he had to try and leap over his defender from a standing position. He's just saying, once you get it out your feet, get it in quick so I can get it on the move.
All over the top to nobody. Yeah, you just wonder, the longer this game goes on, how much more frustrated Perth Glory will get, given the dominance that they have had and the opportunities that they have had as well. Almost 2.5 games without a goal now. Last in the A-League for big chances converted. Matt Sutton has barely been tested. No shots on goal for the Mariners so far. But we know in this game it can turn on a dime. And Savik Noor is happy to ride that challenge and let the ball go out for a throw.
Well, Pennington's shown energy since coming on, hasn't he? Well, to chase that back. See him here now stepping up alongside Taggart to start the press.
Izio leaves that one through. Risdon wins it back, but only momentarily. Brantman has plenty of runners in the middle. Duarte makes a diagonal run. He goes across field to Miguel DiPizio, who does test out Matt Sutton. Sutton fumbles on the first attempt, but he always had that pretty well contained. And Miggy DiPizio will register the Mariners' first shot on goal. Almost an hour into this one.
It was a poor turnover, wasn't it? Sloppy pass in midfield, and here's another one from a similar area. And from there, the Mariners found space one after the other.
Well, it was those sloppy giveaways that were giving Perth Glory the opportunities in the first half. It was the Mariners that were turning it over. The roles are being reversed at the moment. DiPizio again with Duarte. Space out here for Brantman. He's one-on-one with Shamoon. Cuts back in onto the left foot. Oh, Bailey Brantman, what a goal! What a way to register your first A-League goal. Bailey Brantman cuts back in on the left foot and sends it flying past a hapless Matt Sutton. And you'd have to say, against the run of play in this one, a first A-League goal for Bailey Brantman sees the Mariners lead 1-0.
Well, they fired a few warning shots, and then we'll see on the Harvey Norman replay, Perth Glory, they didn't take notice. And Bailey Brantman, he's got a wonderful left foot, just shifts it out to his left and says, well, pick that out. What a finish that is. And Matt Sutton says it. We just had a chance a minute ago and you've given another one away. And haven't the Mariners made them pay? Technically beautiful finish that. And it has come against the run of play. Maybe you could say they were just having a little bit of the moment for a couple of moments before, but when they needed someone to stand up and really seize the moment, that man did it.
Only a 9th A-League start for the Moreton Bay junior. He was benched last week against the Phoenix. And he has sent a message to Warren Moon. What a first A-League goal, but can Perth Glory react straight away? Despotovsky, I'm not sure whether he was thinking about shooting there, but in the end it was scooped up and easy for Andrew Redmayne. Very nearly an instant reply for the home side.
Well, I wonder if we'll start to see a little bit more urgency now. And you see there, I think he's just trying to poke it across to Taggart again, but under heavy pressure. Well, we spoke about it, didn't we? You can have all the pressure you like. You can control the game. If you don't make them pay, they always think there's a chance.
Maybe Bailey Brantman was just celebrating a little too long that first A-League goal, because he was the man who gave the ball away to Nick Pennington to almost allow Perth Glory back in there. Here's Moragas finding Storm Rue on the far side. Shamoon gets the head on the way through. Brantman, he could have a second here. Plenty of Perth Glory shirts back in defence now. Rue dinking over the top. Duarte. It falls for Nico Duarte on the penalty spot. Glory get feet in the way again. It goes out for a Mariners corner. An hour gone in this one, and the Mariners have got their backs up after that goal.
Well, took them almost an hour, to get their first shot on goal, and now their tails are up.
You can hear there Matt Sutton saying Storm's going short, but Storm Rue is holding his position at the front post at the moment. As Brantman delivers towards the centre of the 6-yard box. Headed clear. McCalmont and Paul. One back by the Glory. They can break quickly here. Timmins doesn't have support, so he takes the hit from McCalmont, and McCalmont will go into the book as well. Just grabbed hold of Timmins there. He knew that Perth Glory had the numbers, and so he's given away the professional foul to slow things down.
Well, you'd have to say it was a good professional foul in the terms of Warren Moon's man.
Timmins was happy to take the contact as well. Wooden trying to shift it for Lockie Wales. Another giveaway. Pennington this time. Sabit Nyor goes on a run. It's too heavy for DiPizio though. You can really feel the pendulum shifting. Perth Glory seeking their first win of this campaign. Finished last season with 2 wins in their final 3. Brantman for Nyor. Nyor and Risdon. DiPizio gets in to help out. Risdon couldn't get past DiPizio on that occasion. Moragas' ball in. Duarte is a bit of a lone ranger there. Only half cleared. Despotovsky coming all the way back to help out.
Well, that's not where Adam Griffiths wants to see Seb Despotovsky back in his own box clearing.
I wonder if that's a sign of the increased desperation. Down the goal, Bozanovsky. It's too heavy for Lockie Wales, and you can see the frustration there for Lockie Wales. Perth wanted it to play quicker in the first half. The Mariners are the ones controlling the pace at the moment. Duarte, once again, plenty of Perth shirts in front of him. Bozanovsky. Bradley Tapp has to be strong there. They want it quick. Taggart has no one to throw it to, and he's filthy. Shane Skinner is called an offside, and Adam Taggart is going to go into the book for that reaction, slamming the ball down in frustration.
Well, I think at first he might have thought that the foul was for a foul on the sideline there, but then as he slammed the ball down, realised that the assistant referee's flag was up. It did look to come from that offside position.
It's really starting to compound now for the home side. You really get the feeling that they are being left to rue the opportunities that they had, particularly in that first half. DiPizio with space. Nyor on his left, continuing on DiPizio. Now he goes to the left, but it's Moragas, gets a touch, and it'll be a corner.
We're starting to see a little bit more of that, aren't we? DiPizio getting on the ball, Moragas getting forward. Aaron is just moving the ball around the edge of Perth's box. I just wonder if he's starting to think about what he can do off the bench to inject some more forward momentum.
Yeah, didn't have a heap of involvement in the first half, did he? Miggy DiPizio missed most of last season with an ACL. But this second half. He's looked really lively going forward. Corner into the 6-yard box as well. It's scrambled. DiPizio was there. Sutton didn't claim it on the first occasion. It was pinball, but it fell into the grateful arms of the Glory custodian, and now they can break. As Potofsky loses out, you wonder if fatigue is becoming a factor for the 20-year-old. Oh, that was another great opportunity.
Well, a second would just be heartbreaking, wouldn't it, for Glory? You have to say at the moment, the pendulum swinging towards the Mariners, and you can see them potentially nicking a second. Yeah. Let's have another look here. Here's Sharbel Sharmoon on the bench, on the line, isn't it? Sorry, Glenn. Just gets his body in the way. Really couldn't clear it. Just does enough.
He was falling backwards as well, wasn't he? And was fortunate to be able to keep that one out. Perth do win a free kick, but you can just sense the frustration starting to build at HBF Park. The Mariners with 70% of the ball in the last 10 minutes. Able to keep Perth Glory scoreless at half-time would have given them a huge amount of confidence. And now it's the Glory who have to manufacture something. Brantman will go into the book here. He's just grabbed a whole heap of Shamoon's shirt. And that's a really easy one for Shane Skinner, the third Central Coast Mariner, into the book.
Another easy one, isn't it?
So the substitutions will come for Perth, as Callum Timmins makes way. Let's get down to Jacob Burns.
Yeah, guys, hasn't that momentum? We talked about it all game. If you Central Coast staying in it long enough, they'd get one chance and one goal. Clearly the boys are frustrated down here. But what was interesting, guys, was if you picked up, when Freeney went off, they adjusted their formation and kind of went to a 4-2-3-1 for a moment there with Pennington sitting in there. The goal directly... Hold on a sec.
Yeah, a ball coming across the face, and Bradley Tapp has to be really quick onto that one to head over the bar in front of Redmayne. So they're not giving up just yet, the Glory.
No, they're still in it. What I was alluding to there is that the goal came directly through Sebastian Despotowski being back in midfield where he hasn't been all game. They seem to have changed from a 4-4-2 to a 4-2-3-1, which may have resulted in a goal.
Here's Wales' corner once again. It's not a great delivery. Moragas can reef it clear. And Muir wins the battle with No. No wins it back. And it's a low ball in from Wales. Just laid off from Taggart. And almost with his first touch of the game, Bugaria had it blocked. And then on the second attempt, it's just wide of Andrew Redmayne's post. Well, the substitutions are making an immediate impact for the Glory. It was No this occasion.
Well, we asked, would Adam Griffiths go to his bench soon to get some of those exciting players on? Well, these are the two that I was thinking, and they've had an immediate impact. Energy. Two players that will love to get the ball at their feet, go at defenders. It's exactly what Perth Glory need at the moment.
Well, this Central Coast Mariners defensive unit has been impressive. No clean sheets yet this campaign, but they've worked incredibly hard, in particular Paul and Tapp. But No and Bugaria will make them work for the last 20-odd minutes. Oh, No, with a real spring in his step. He was virtually ever present last season. This is his first minutes of this campaign. Brantman wins a relieving try for the Mariners. It takes very little for a momentum shift. A goal for Perth Glory to bring it back on level terms. Will completely turn this one on its head. Pennington can't find a way through. Tap only as far as Bozanovsky. Here comes Lockie Wales again, who's been asking questions all night. Still he goes, Lockie Wales. Moragas does just enough. Mariners playing with fire, and now it will be Warren Moon who goes to his bench. And it's the goal scorer, Bailey Brantman, who is making way. So Abdul Faisal against his former club. Nico Duarte, who's also on a yellow card, will make way for Ryan Edmondson to have an impact in the final 20 minutes. More attacking changes, both sides looking to dominate in the final third.
Something tells me this final 20 minutes is going to be action-packed. You can feel the crowd already just raise a little with the injection of the substitutes.
4 fresh forwards. And this ball low and hard, but straight into the gloves of Andrew Redmayne. As tiring defenders, that is not what you want to see. Edmondson holds the ball up well. Look at that, the Mariners equal top as it stands with Auckland in action in the derby tomorrow. A huge afternoon of derby football. Melbourne City could potentially also reclaim the lead, depending on that result. In New Zealand, if City can get Melbourne bragging rights. Here's Shamoon. Now no. Cuts onto the right. Ball back in. Nathan Paul will head it clear. Moragas will look to prevent the corner. He does so. And keeps it in play as well. He's done well there, Moragas.
He's had a good game. Lockie Wales came at him early and often. He dealt with it.
Oh, it's given away by DiPizio. Taggart has time and space. Straight into the back of Bradley Tapp. Does well to block it. Bozanovsky had a big piece of DiPizio's shirt there. The referee allows play to continue. Shamoon, who's been excellent tonight as well. Faisal wins it back for the Mariners. It already appears frenetic with the introduction of these substitutions. Perth desperately seeking an equaliser. Wales into the area, cleared by Paul. Only as far as Risdon. Wales again. Mariners camped in their own final third. Ryan Edmondson tries to push forward, but Wooten can link up with Noah. He's been on the field for 5 or so minutes, but he's looked so lively. DiPizio wins it back. Only momentarily, though. Still with the glory. Risdon. Still going Josh Risdon off the left foot. Sails over the bar. Josh Risdon doesn't score too many, only 6 in his career. 281 games, and that one not troubling Andrew Redmayne.
Well, his first thought was to whip that ball to Taggart, and he realised I don't have the angle and the space has opened up a little bit. Just didn't quite get hold of it, but you can feel the onslaught starting to come. Perth Glory are going to throw everything at this, and they need to. They're at home. Such a good first half. Mariners have been better in the second, but they need to get something from this game.
And the Mariners had that period of domination for about 15 minutes or so after half-time. The Glory have certainly wrestled their way back in. And it's going to be nervous moments for those watching back in Gosford in the hour approaching midnight in the east. A late night for Central Coast fans. Will they be going to bed happy with 3 points, or can the Glory in front of their home fans find a way back into this one? There's a Mariners free kick with McAlmont standing over it. Another attacker looking to be introduced into this one. Arthur De Lima getting ready for the Mariners. Matt Sutton is telling his defenders to be aware of Abdul Faisal lurking on the edge of the area. Pizio and McCalmont. It is McCalmont to take, but he can't get it past the first man. Recycled by Moragas. Zanovsky can win it back for the Glory. He's done well again there, Reece Bozanovsky. A giveaway allows McCalmont to start things again for the Central Coast. Long ball over the top for Edmondson.
Well, that's where they're going to want to use Edmondson, his size and his strength, to hold that ball up, but he can't give it away so cheaply.
Giving it away here in the middle for Steele. Pennington dives in. Savignor tries to win it back for the Mariners, but Bugaria holds on to it. First time this season that the Mariners have opened the scoring. Pizio's disappointed with that pass. Savignor not quite reading what Pizio was trying to do. And the Mariners make this change for Arthur De Lima now. He comes on in place of Miggy Pizio. Reece Bozanovsky gets treatment for the Perth Glory. Bit of pickle juice, I would suggest, with 15 minutes to go. And what has been a real arm wrestle.
Well, Miguel Pizio, almost sight unseen in the first half. Got himself into the game in the second half. Started to be involved in getting that ball forward. It's Arthur De Lima now who takes up the mantle to try and keep the Mariners on the front foot. They've actually weathered that bit of a storm from Perth when it was a little bit frenetic. The crowd was starting to get in the game. They've just nullified that again.
Bozanovsky is heading to the sideline, and his afternoon or evening will be done. And it is the veteran Brandon O'Neill to be introduced. Started those first two games. He was dropped for the victory game, only came on in the last 5 or 6 minutes. We'll get 14 or so this evening. The 31-year-old, game number 197 in the A-League. Back to his boyhood club for a third stint. Moragas was finding Muir, who slips over. Risdon tries to make the most of it, but Josh Risdon's ball into the area doesn't trouble Andrew Redmayne. It might have got a touch on the way through. It did. Andrew Redmayne may have had to make a play at the front post. They get the corner. It's O'Neill straight into the action, straight on set pieces. The outswinger. Headed clear by Edmondson. The Mariners will have to clear their lines here. Coano will look to get it back into the area. Flicked on by Kaltak. Lockie Wales gets straight past De Lima. Lockie Wales still going, tag it in the middle. Back to Wales, but intercepted by Storm Rue. Now the Mariners can break. Plenty of purple shirts try to get back. Faisal. Oh, that's a really good interception by Josh Risdon, coming all the way across from the right-hand side to get in the way with Abdel Faisal away.
Did very well there. Read the play well. Timed his run to perfection as well. Showing all his years of experience.
He's sucking in the big ones now, the 33-year-old, after flying across the park to make a really important tackle. Faisal again losing out to Shamoon. Kono. And now Bugaria. Wales was there. Nathan Paul telegraphed it. Sabit-Nyor can break now. Brendan O'Neill is chasing. Nyor rides the tackle of Risdon, who does brilliantly again. Harry Steele forces a big touch from Nor. Oh, the Mariners really struggling to control things here. Tat and Paul getting in the way of each other. Here's Taggart. Lays it off for Brendan O'Neill. Steele's header into the back of Wales, and then on the volley, Taggart puts it wide. He didn't get the connection that he would have liked to there. Nick Pennington it was. But that was a really scary moments for the Central Coast Mariners. It was Taggart.
A little bit of pinball there. Lockie Wales was trying to stay out of it because I think he thought he was offside, and he gets back in the back of the head. And Taggart had positioned himself at the top of the D, got the strike away, and like most of his efforts tonight, haven't quite been on the radar. When they have, this man, Andrew Redmayne, has been up to task.
He just had a snap at the volley there, didn't he, Adam Taggart? Didn't have a whole heap of space to work in.
I have to say that whenever that young man Koanoa goes anywhere near the ball, it seems to lift the whole team and the crowd. He's full of energy.
Less than 10 minutes plus stoppages for Perth Glory to find a way back into this one and pick up their second point of the campaign after back-to-back losses. Daniel McBreen mentioned that more often than not, matches between Perth Glory and the Central Coast Mariners end in a draw. What was it, Macca? 7 of the last 11.
Yeah.
So the Glory will be hoping that history's on their side and they can find a late equaliser. Shamoon goes to ground. Brad Tapp gives the free kick away. This will be taken in a dangerous position. Andrew Redmayne will be thinking long and hard about how he sets up here. Brendan O'Neill standing over this one. Just the one man in the wall. Redmayne will back himself. O'Neill goes toward the back post, just looking for a flick. That's all it would have needed. But it comes off a Mariner. It'll be a corner. And Perth Glory continue to come home with a wet sail here.
It was a decent ball into a good area. And like I said 10 minutes ago, I think this is going to be an action-packed final 10 minutes.
O'Neill not wasting much time here. Towards the byline, headed clear by Moragas. Falls for Wales, doesn't get the contact. Faisal tries to wrestle it off, not. He does so successfully, then he goes to ground and he'll take the free kick. And a yellow card for Nick Pennington, and that's probably just about what the doctor ordered for the Central Coast Mariners, who are out on their feet at the moment.
Well, you could see there, Pennington just reaching out a handful of shirt.
So Christian Theoharis will be entering the action. And a slight delay as Sabit-Nyor makes his way off on the far side. So another 7 minutes here for Christian Theoharis, which is pretty much what he's been used to this season. Just 12 minutes against Newcastle, 3 against Sydney and 7 against Wellington. Jacob on the touchline. How did Perth get back into this one?
Well, they need to find something against a very resilient back four of Central Coast. As Mac has said, that it's opening up as the boys get tired. This game's going to open up like right now.
Yeah, here's Adam Taggart. He was in a good battle with Storm Roo, but he maintains possession. The Mariners scrambling all the way back through Alfie McCalmont. Well, Perth Glory are really pushing for this equaliser here. Risdon for Pennington. Thanks, Jacob. I know you're on the edge of your seat as well, as the whole crowd at HBF Park is. Brandon O'Neill. Taggart can't quite get the flick on. Well, that was the moment for Adam Taggart. I thought he was going to head that one past Andrew Redmayne and make it 1-1, but he just couldn't quite get contact.
Well, we saw an earlier one where he tried to get a slight contact and got too much. Well, he was trying similar here, but just didn't get enough. Andrew Redmayne would have been left stranded if there was any touch.
Well, Alfie McCalmont has just been dragged to the ground. Shane Skinner allows play to continue. Well, that was the moment, wasn't it, for Perth Glory? A great ball over the top from Brandon O'Neill. Taggart couldn't quite get enough contact or any contact to get it past Andrew Redmayne. They do win a free kick here as we see the replay again.
Well, that's the perfect view, isn't it? He gets anything on that, and there's nothing Andrew Redmayne can do about it. And it's been that kind of night for Adam Taggart. He's been so close. He's been the nearly man tonight. And it's either been a man in yellow or a man in blue that's been in the way.
5 shots tonight for Adam Taggart. Wales gets past McCalmont. Ball into the area. Steele frantically heads that one away. Still they come, the Glory. Josh Risdon has been outstanding in defence for his side. He leads the Paramount Plus player index. But it's a tight run race, and it just gives you an indication of how much of a battle this game has been. Between two sides, desperate for 3 competition points. Oh, Nyok. So lively. Faisal can only knock it over for a Perth Glory throw. They're at the shed end. Oh, O'Neill gives it away. Edmondson thought he was away there. Caltac made an important intervention. The championship-winning teammates, and now Thea Harris is pushed over. The Mariners will just let the steam evaporate from this and calm things down a little.
Well, they were in no hurry in the first half at 0-0. They're not going to be in a hurry now. Well, I dare say they might just give that ball to Christian Theoharis at times and say, just get it, run down the line, draw the foul. We can eke out these final few moments.
It's an interception again from the Glory. Nathan Paul was the man who gave it away. He gets back in front of the Glory attack. Warren Moon. No more stressful position than a coach leading 1-0 with the opponents pushing hard. 2 and a bit minutes plus stoppages for the Central Coast to hang on. You get the feeling it's not quite over yet. Faisal and Shamoun, and it is the Mariners who win the free kick right in front of Griffiths. He's stony-faced inside, he'd be churning. Here's DeLima. Now Faisal. Thea Harris is coming towards the back post. Great defending by Brian Caltac. Still Faisal, still the Mariners. Thea Harris on the left if he can get a shot away. Matt Sutton is awake to it. Probably didn't have the power that he wanted, Thea Harris, but he had to make the goalkeeper work.
Well, if that finished in a goal, I would love to have seen the foul right back at the start, but the Mariners won. I thought it was the other way round. In the end, nothing coming from it. We can move on.
Chambel Shamoun was incredulous when it went the other way. It didn't cost them in the end. Brian Caltac doing some excellent defensive work. 32 caps, Vanuatu international. Just about say a Mariners legend as well. He's 81 games. Here's Nyo towards the back post again, but it's over hit Lachie Wales was flying through, but it was way too big for Wales to get any kind of connection on. Maybe the first blot on Nyo's copybook. Really exciting introduction. 18 games last season. He's had to bide his time through the opening 3 weeks. To get some minutes in round 4. The clock starting to work against the Glory. Risdon keeps it away from Thea Harris. Oh, the back heel. Thea Harris has to go to ground to win it back, and then he takes the tackle of a frustrated Josh Risdon. Puts the head down. And we'll be heading into time added on by the time the Mariners take this free kick.
This is what Christian Thea Harris does so well. He battles, he draws fouls. Some say maybe goes down easy at times, but he frustrates players. He frustrates the opposition. Low centre of gravity. He uses his body.
So Redmayne's free kick. It was long, but it was over the touchline. Risdon with a little push in the back from Edmondson. So Perth Glory still have 6 minutes to try to get something. Taggart with the header lays it off for Bugaria. Shamoun and Wales towards the back post. Redmayne comes for it. Oh, he almost has it taken out of his hands by Nathan Paul. Manages to grab onto it at the second attempt. He goes to ground. I don't think that he... Well, you'd hope that he's not too badly injured here, Andrew Redmayne. The veteran does really well there to grab it at the second attempt.
Well, he's done well again tonight. You could hear the call, and at the last moment, Nathan Paul just ducked the head and got out the way, but still a bit of a collision. Your look at me there, Glenn, said that you're not too sure. Maybe he's playing for time.
Sorry, I just saw a bus come past, Macca. He's a veteran. He's experienced, is Andrew Redmayne. And he's back on his feet, which is good news for the Central Coast Mariners. Another 4 saves this evening. And, of course, Shane Skinner would have been aware of how long that Andrew Redmayne was on the deck for then, and adding it to the total. Can the Glory find an injury time equaliser? That man, Adam Griffiths, would dearly love to see it happen. Searching for his first points as an A-League coach. Of course, a former assistant to Maka Rudan at Western Sydney, New South Wales NPL Coach of the Year at Manly United a couple of years ago. And he's done the apprenticeship. 2 interim managers in charge this evening. A wry smile. Harry Steele tries to get it back for the Mariners, but Perth Glory come again through Pennington. Can he feed the needle for Wales? He can't. Stormaroo was there. Well, this is desperation now for both sides. They will leave nothing in the tank.
With 2.5 minutes to go, I think maybe Wooten could go forward.
Well, here's Shamoun looking for a first-time touch. He had to reach for it. Taggart flies high over the top of Bradley Tapp. I beg your pardon, Macca. I'll come back to you in a moment because Bugaria... Oh, Brian Edmondson comes all the way back to pick that from under his feet.
I was just about to say, there's only 2 minutes left, or maybe a bit more of injury time. You've got a huge frame of Wooten just sitting up at halfway. Why not throw him forward? Throw caution to the wind.
Faisal has been released now down the right channel for the Mariners. Andrew Redmayne saw it early. And Abdel Faisal is happy to take it to the corner. Still almost 2 minutes to go. He's suggesting that there was foul play involved. The last touch is off a Perth player, so the Mariners will win the throw, but Faisal thought he might have had a free kick out of that. Just heard accusations of him wasting time from the crowd. Now Edmondson holding it up for Faisal. Harry Steele will have a speculative shot from long range, straight into the travelling Central Coast Mariners support. And Matt Sutton will want to take this one quickly. Wimbledon fan. So with less than a minute to go, Perth still happy to knock it round the back and look for a way through. Here's Coenio. Beautifully there to wrong foot Thea Harris. The ball in is headed clear by Bradley Tapp. Maybe one or two final raids here. Pennington has to get it into the area. Nathan Paul heads clear. De Lima will try to maintain possession, but he's double teamed. Brian Kaltak and Nyo. Now Kaltak just shields the ball on the deck. Brandon O'Neill will run with it. Flicked on by Risdon. Oh, now Thea Harris is caught from behind through Brandon O'Neill. And Thea Harris uses all of his muscle to wrestle it back off Risdon. A couple of step overs. He has Faisal here. He'll take it to the corner. He might think about shooting. He will. Abdel Faisal puts it just wide of the post. The 6 minutes of allotted injury time are up. Of course, Andrew Redmayne spent a little while on the ground. Faisal as well. You just wonder whether the shot was on or whether he should have taken it to the corner there.
And I know which one Warren Moon would have wanted. If it's not going to fly into the top corner, we'll get yourself into the corner.
Lockie Wales. 30 seconds past the allotted time added on. Brandon O'Neill towards Pennington at the back post, and it's headed over the byline for a goal kick. The referee is saying the last touch is off the Perth Glory, and Lucas Moragas has done really well there to see it off Nick Pennington, and Andrew Redmayne will be in absolutely no rush to take this goal kick. He has a sip of his drink. And he'll be happy to soak up the pressure from behind the goal. Warren Moon thinks the points are in the bank. Maybe the fourth official, Niall Gilmore, has just told him that that's going to be it. And it is. 3 points on the road for the Central Coast Mariners for the first time since the 17th of January. Storm Roo's 200th match in Mariners colours will end in success. The defensive triumvirate of Tapp, Moragas and Paul celebrate. Christian Thea Harris copped a few knocks when he came on as well. Lockie Wales and Harry Steele, the Terrigal Juniors, having a chat, and Adam Taggart cutting a really dejected figure after that one. Taggart finishing the match with 5 shots and nothing to show for it. And it is the Central Coast Mariners who inflicts another loss, 3 in a row for the Perth Glory after that opening round draw. It has finished at HBF Park thanks to Bailey Brantman's maiden A-League goal. The Central Coast Mariners 1, Perth Glory 0. So let's have a look at how the Alex Tobin medal points came out in the wash, and it was a fantastic defensive performance by Nathan Paul, who picked up the 3 points for the Central Coast. Lucas Moragas, his left-back partner, and a real defensive effort for the Central Coast. Andrew Redmayne in goal, the veteran who had to make another 4 saves